Welcome back to our conversation with Marty Meehan, president of the UMass system. And Marty, I think our viewers know about this whole uproar about the system's purchase of the Mount Ida campus.
UMass Amherst purchased.
UMass Amherst purchased that, and there's been big uproar about it. I don't want to really rehash all that here, but in the wake of it, there is a move in the legislature to require executive branch sign-off of any new land purchases by UMass instead of the current setup, which is you just need the okay of the board of directors. And they also are talking about more oversight on how you distribute state funds to the various UMass campuses. Are you open to that or not?
Well, on the first one, regarding Mount Ida or any major purchase of property, we run that by the governor's A&F office. So I communicated with the executive branch early on in the Mount Ida thing.
But they don't have a veto.
To do that. If the governor would say he doesn't want you to do something, UMass probably wouldn't do it.
Okay.
But that having been said, I'm interested in anything the legislature wants to do. The difficulty with how much each of the campuses get, I'm not sure they know which campus gets what, but if you look at full-time equivalent students, UMass Lowell gets a lot less state money per full-time student, for example, than UMass Boston does. So it's a complicated issue. Those universities that have grown enrollment, or those of our campuses that have, actually their full-time equivalent state funding is a little less. But I'm open to working with the legislature on anything. What I'm not interested in I'm not interested in making tough decisions at UMass based on optics or based on, you know, a story in the Globe. This is a $3.3 billion operation. We need to make judgments about what's in the long-term interest of the university. That's what we did in the instance of Mount Ida. And 5 years from now, people will think it was a great deal because UMass Amherst students will get an opportunity for internships, co-ops, in interacting with business in Massachusetts. And I want to see them do more of that.
How many schools in the UMass system?
There are 5 campuses.
5 campuses. Now, how many total public universities in the state?
There are 29 in the state
okay.
as a whole.
Now, you mentioned the changing demographics, declining numbers are projected of high school graduates in the state. Are we still going to have 29 operating public colleges and universities in the state in 10 years?
I don't think so, John. I actually think that consolidation is a must. We need to get more efficient as a system. UMass Boston, for example, takes the majority of their students as transfer students from community colleges. We should be looking to see whether consolidation of some community colleges with UMass makes sense, whether or not the state can support, or demographically, you can support 29 colleges and universities in Massachusetts. The short answer is in 10 years, no. We won't have 29. There's no way we are. These are tough political decisions, and sometimes it's difficult to make tough decisions, but no, we're not. Demographically, there's no way that all 29 will survive.
You know, we're out of time here, but I'm going to steal another minute, and we'll just take it out of sports, because this is sports-related. This fall, the UMass football scheduled just one game at Gillette Stadium.
Yes.
Against BYU, of all places. There were none last year, although there was one at Fenway, after there were 3 in 2016. Is this an acknowledgement that the UMass at Gillette experiment has been a flop?
I think it depends upon what team you're playing. It's not a good idea to play a football game with 5,000 or 6,000 fans in a 66-seat facility. Yep. Ideally, UMass Amherst would like to play their games on the campus. They had a special, unique opportunity this year to play at Fenway Park, and that seemed to go pretty well. They played UNH. So it depends on the opponent. Brigham Young is a good opponent to play in Gillette because
that's not going to draw flies.
Well, we'll see what it draws, but it depends on the opponent, and frankly, it depends on whether or not the UMass Amherst football team is winning games or not. It's really all about winning.
Are you backing away from that whole idea?
Well, that's a decision that's made at the Amherst campus.
Okay.
You know, Gillette is a great venue. It's easier to get a top-notch team to come to Gillette because it's where the Patriots play. It's where all these AFC championships games have been played and won. So it's a place football teams want to come to, but I think UMass Amherst would rather have most of the games on the campus.
Yep. Marty Meehan, president
John.
of UMass. Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Good to have you. That's it for our time this week. Sorry, sports department, but you can use that and call it sports. Now it's back over to my colleagues for more WBZ News.